Counting the
cost of
Sorry.
counting the
cost of
Home postpartum care.
wow. Joohyun and Lily, I have a question for you. So when I first told everybody that I was gonna do the home postpartum care, most people, 99% of the people around me said I was crazy. And why did you guys do something so crazy? And then most people would probably have said you're crazy.
Yeah, same here.
So what made you want to do the home postpartum care?
Well, actually, so my situation is actually a little bit different from Lily's, and in a sense, I had a lot more support. So I live with my parents, and also I have aunts living in the same building, and my grandmother lives in the same building, so lots of maternal support to provide. And also, one of my aunts happens to be a nurse at the 조리원.
Wow.
wow.
So I wasn't that scared. And when I told people that, they sort of understood. They're like, okay, oh, so you have the support. That's why. Of course, I never knew what was coming. I never knew what I was getting into. But initially, I wasn't that worried, even though I received a lot of worries from all around.
Wow. So you had the professionals living above and below you.
Yes. And the first day we came home from the hospital, my aunt came and she bathed Harang and she showed us how to, swaddle her and everything. So it was very peaceful while the sun was up.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Why did you decide to do the home postpartum care?
Oh, there were different reasons, I guess. Well, one of them was I didn't want to pay for it. I was like, well, in America, people do it all themselves. So, if they can do it, then why can't I? So I did a lot of YouTube research and thought, oh, maybe I can just do it. And then another thing was, I don't know, I just didn't want to become too dependent on other people taking care of her. And then when it did come time for me to take her home, I'd probably, I wouldn't be used to it and be more stressed. So I don't know. I just wanted to take the brunt of it from the very beginning. And then also, I didn't want to be separated from Jaewon. That was.
So you wanted to save money, you wanted to do it yourself, and you wanted to stay with me. And Joohyun said you had a huge support at home. So Joohyun, would you have done home postpartum care if you hadn't had the support that you had? And what would you recommend that people should do?
Yeah, so having gone through it, so Hanan was a very challenging baby, and she still is, but better now. but so I told you about the peaceful day we had when we came back from the hospital, and baby was sleeping. My husband came back from the hospital. He was so happy. He was like, oh, he had that paternal smile, and he was rocking around his arms. It was very peaceful. And then the sun went down, and like in horror movies, watch a lot of horror movies. Like when the sun goes down, something happens. So I just started crying. And crying incessantly, and it was almost like she had baby colic, but I don't think she did. She was just really hungry all the time. So she wanted to eat all the time, and the doctors say that you're supposed to feed your newborn at least while they're a newborn, whenever they're hungry and whenever they're crying. In Han's case, she would overeat all the time, and so we had to control her eating, and she got sick from overeating, but she still wanted to eat.
Wow.
And that was like around the clock, during the day, at night. My parents got sick taking care of her.
Wow.
My dad would stay up all night, like holding her.
Wow.
My mom got sick. I got sick. Everybody got sick. It was really intense. Having gone through that, so it was really hard for like 4 weeks until she calmed down a little bit and she got better digestion, less reflux. But having gone through that, I think, well, first of all, I don't think I'm going to have a second child. But I think if I had to do it over again, I would still do the home postpartum care. And the reason happen is that I think those first few weeks were crucial for Hanan's development. So because she didn't go to an institution where she would be treated like any other baby, and I'm sure the nurses would take good care of her, but there are so many to take care of. And here she got the individual support, she got the individual attention, and I think that was really crucial to her growth. And we could really see her, develop, and it was very, very fast. And I think the first few weeks may be more important than many people account for. So.
That's true. Yeah, I agree with Joohyun. Like, babies grow so fast. Like the first few weeks, you can see already the different changes in how they grow. I would always joke with Jae. I was like, oh, maybe I would probably do the home post. I would go to the Jody one, but then I don't know during that time. But now that I look back, I don't think I'd probably do the home postpartum care all over again. But maybe do more research instead of thinking I know everything. Maybe ask more people like questions. I was ready to take care of myself during postpartum care, but I wasn't ready to take care of the baby. If you know what I mean. Like like taking care of my lady parts, but that didn't go well either. So that made it more difficult because it didn't heal properly. I think if it would have healed properly the first time, I think I would have been able to take care of the baby better, I think. But Jaewa did a fantastic job, cleaning everything and attending to my needs, and his mom also brought food over, so I didn't have to think about cooking or cleaning or anything. But the evenings were tough because I love my sleep, and so the fact that she kept crying, and then I one nipple was inverted, so it was difficult for her to feed on. So there were just a few things that she needed to overcome, and then she also had a tongue tie, so we had to figure that out. But now everything is fine, So I wouldn't change anything except do more research.
Right. And I think it's really important to have, a lot of support from the people who are around you, because, you're just stretched to the maximum. People tell you about how hard it's going to be, and you never imagine it.
Exactly. Yeah, who knew that she was going to wake up in the middle of the night so hungry, crying all the time? I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm so tired, I can't even feed you. I just want to sleep.
So now you're thinking you should have taken better care of the female part that should have been aired out more instead of keeping it so tight.
Yeah.
So because it ended up getting infected.
Almost
infected.
Almost. Praise God it didn't.
So you had to be resutured.
Yeah, they had to resuture me. Oh, it's crazy.
So, we had my mom cooking for us, not the whole time, but she came and dropped it off, and we ate that. And then we also ate some delivery food. And when I heard from Joohyun that you had so many people helping, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people. That's like an entire hospital hospital staff.
It's like an entire building full of people, but it's not enough, You have like 4 grown adults, throwing themselves at the baby, and then plus other adults, and then it's still not enough. And we're like, oh, we need 16 more pairs.
Wow, I can't imagine how much love she has been showered upon, because it was pretty much with us. It was just me and Lily, and I was freaking out every moment because I didn't know what I was doing. And now I know how to change diaper. Now I know how to wash her and put her to sleep. All these things, but in the beginning I didn't know anything. I was so nervous, but I feel better equipped now. So. You had a lot of people supporting you, so did everything turn out the way you wanted, or did you also go through trial and error with that many experienced people helping you?
Yeah, no, so many trials and errors. Oh boy. Yeah, I think we sort of underestimated the child that we would have. She's very different from my husband and I. She's very... She's very opinionated. We could tell from a very early stage. She's very loud. Youngsu and I were both very quiet babies according to our parents, and we sort of expected our child to be the same. And the moment, so I had a C-sec. I wanted to go for vaginal delivery, but it didn't work out. So I had a C-sec, and the moment they pulled her out, she just started crying, and I've never heard a baby cry that loud in my life. My mom was outside waiting, and she said, "Wow, okay, that baby is really loud, and that turned out to be Haran." And she came home, and she was just crying her head off, and she was very, very loud, and very picky. We didn't know how to placate her. She just she strongly preferred breast milk, but initially I also had trouble feeding her, so that was really hard, and she also wanted to eat consistently. It was really, really hard. I don't know. I mean, I also started doing a lot of research at that time because I realized, something has to stop. Like something has to change. Actually, in my case, no amount of research really helped me because she didn't do anything by the book.
Yeah.
Like nothing I had to try. It really helped. I think a couple of things that I looked up were helpful, but other things, like everything was very topsy-turvy. So I think, yeah, it's really good to, I guess it would have been good if I researched in advance, because I was also like you, Lily. I mainly focused on getting through my pregnancy, and once the baby came out, I was sort of like, okay, I'll just feed her, she'll sleep. Babies are supposed to sleep like 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Wrong.
I think I slept like 7 hours a day when she was a newborn.
Wow.
So I think a lot of more research would have been helpful, but also would definitely not have been enough. And still, we got through that, and she's now at 4 months. So praise the Lord, and time passes and things get better.
Yeah,
Wow.
time goes by so fast.
So for you, what was the greatest breakthrough in terms of like trial and error and things began to work? And
I think the moment my lady parts healed, I think I felt a lot better. Like, I think that was the moment where, like, okay, I think I can handle the next thing. Like, because when your own physical condition is really not healing properly, like, you can't take care of somebody else. Because you're constantly thinking about your own, like, am I going to even get through this? So, So I think once that was healed, I started having hope. Like, okay, now I can do the next thing. And then I was having like, because of my inverted nipple, like it was sore and bled a little bit, but then it healed, and then I had like low milk supply because I didn't pump at that time. I didn't think about pumping until my sister-in-law brought her pump over, and so I used that and pumped some milk, and just to get the milk supply going. It's still low, but anyway, it's still better than before. And then what else? Oh, and then she pulled it out completely, and then it stopped bleeding. So it's a lot.
which was a
better now.
miracle.
Which was a miracle. I never knew.
I know.
She did a surgery.
Yeah. Some babies just give up, but then I guess Hayan kept at it.
Yeah, she just kept at it, And a few weeks ago I tried, because she's getting so distracted these days feeding, and she keeps like, with the SNS like tube thing, it's very difficult. It gets very messy, especially if she keeps like moving her head. So I was like, let me just try the bottle. That affected the breastfeeding, everything. She wouldn't even take my breast after a while. So I was like, forget it. So I stopped the bottle. I know, sorry, that was a huge tangent. But yes, that was
the purpose of the supplementary nursing system is
so that she can, just to get my milk supply consistently. Because I think I tried the bottle initially when she was maybe 2 months, and when I tried that, she wouldn't take my, she wouldn't breastfeed. She would just cry because she was getting nipple confusion, I guess. And so then I stopped with the bottle and I did the SNS, and that got my milk supply up more. It's not fully, doesn't feed her fully, but still.
I think when Lily said to me, there is a husband somewhere in this planet that, no, there was a support person that was hired just for one purpose: change the diaper. And she was implying that I wasn't doing it because the reasoning was I have to teach all day because I was teaching many hours, and then her reasoning was, okay, you need to rest, you need to sleep.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't doing my part, she was tired. She was changing diapers, she was feeding, and she was exhausted. And the milk supply also suffered because of the breast milk. So when I began to change diaper, I think it began to really help her feel better.
Yeah, so we worked out a system where I would feed Hayan, and then I would go to sleep. And then at nighttime when she would wake up, he would wake up to take care of her while I was sleeping. That was the best thing ever.
Yeah, so for me, that thing was so difficult, but I've begun to feel a lot better because I felt like I was actually helping and sharing the burden. And then also one of our friends came and did the dishes and did the house chores like
Wow.
2 times a week.
Yeah, she came. She would cook twice a week, and she did our dishes. And
That's wonderful.
That was a huge relief, and it was just so amazing.
yeah, it was amazing.
Mm.
But was it starting 3 months or 2.5 months? Hayan would, she would go to bed around 11, and then just sleep until like 6. So that was really good too. So then we were able to get
Yeah.
our sleep back.
Yeah, same with Hanang, and then now she has sleep regression, so now she wakes up at all hours of the night.
So she's sleeping all the way through at night.
No,
Right now,
she was for like a month and a half, and then
she's going through sleep regression.
But now she's
Yeah.
not anymore as much.
yeah.
Wow.
A lot of activity going on in her brain.
Yeah, maybe. I think for us, the great breakthrough was, so the main problem with Harang at first, I think, was because she had a weak digestive system, and so she couldn't digest, like, she really likes to eat, but she couldn't digest everything that she ate, so she wanted to eat constantly. And yeah, my husband said she takes after me, and I agree. But she would take in more than she could digest. So she was always having reflux. So whenever I fed her at night and put her down, she would fall asleep for 5 minutes and then start having reflux. And so we got like a reflux pillow for her, but it still didn't help that much. It helped a little bit, but didn't solve the problem completely. So from then on, my mother had the idea of making her exercise. So we started making her do a lot of tummy time. And then like she started to attempt belly crawling really early.
Yeah.
So I think that really helped to strengthen her. So now she's a lot stronger, and she's digests better, and now she sleeps better now.
So a baby is feeling better because she's exercising?
Yeah, because she's exercising. So anytime like she feels really uncomfortable or
Wow, she's gonna join us for the interview.
oh, she has such long hair. I'm so jealous.
Say hi. Say hi. Joohyun.
Pretty. Oh,
Hi.
man.
Yeah, so actually, I was beginning to understand what it meant to be depressed.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because you know, especially because of COVID, you're isolated and you're doing everything all alone, and you're doing something you've never done before. And it was just like I didn't like come to a point of complete depression, but I could feel the weight of unknown, this enemy that I don't know how to handle, and I was like, am I doing it right? So I think that uncertainty was just so heavy upon me, and then but that was something I had to figure out on my own. Nobody's gonna teach me how to do diaper exactly, and nobody's gonna teach me how to wash her exactly, but I had to figure out on my own. And it was when I, as a husband, as a father, embraced the responsibility and said, okay, I'm not single anymore, I have a daughter, I need to take care of her, I need to, because I was scared to death about how nasty the poop and the pee were going to be, but because of the supernatural, like overflowing of the love, paternal love, it didn't feel dirty. It didn't feel nasty. I just embraced it. So for me, when I just surrendered to that newly given duty, I began to, I guess, in a sense, thrive as a dad, as a husband. And then, so how did you guys cope with mental stress, all the psychological things going in your mind? I'm pretty sure it must have been very strong.
Yeah, I mean, even with all the support, it was very stressful. For me, because I had to feed her at night mostly. That was very hard, and because I wasn't getting that much sleep. And like you guys, like you and Lily, I tried to, between me and my husband Youngsu, we tried to have Youngsu rest because he needed to go work at the hospital during the day, and I didn't want him to harm his patients because he was
so
sleep
sleepy.
deprived. So we tried to spare him, but yeah, I knew that he needs to sleep. It's sort of like a division of labor between us, but still, I get very resentful because my husband is sleeping away, and every time the baby cries, I take her out to the living room, and then baby wakes up my parents. My parents come and take care of baby. I take care of baby. We're all getting sick. My husband is like stressed without actually contributing. So what are you stressed about? You're not doing it. Yeah, I think systems like you guys might have been helpful. Like you take care of the diaper. I think eventually things got better. Like first of all, Harang started sleeping better. Also, Youngsu started taking on more responsibility, and I think that was helpful for us too. And that was based on both. I told him explicitly. I need you to stop thinking that taking care of the baby is not your affair. I mean, I think he did, sort of, but then, like, he's like, oh, no, I need to go to the hospital, and then, like, he goes to sleep, and then eventually, he didn't really, it didn't really register for him when the baby was, like, squalling. Like, no, when baby is squalling, you need to pay attention to. So I think just being explicit about what I wanted was helpful, and also, in our case, Harang really helped to develop foster that relationship with her father, because I think my husband was sort of automatically assuming that okay, so Harang has all these other adults throwing themselves at her and showering her with affection and attention around the clock, and her father comes home at night and like he tries to have quality time with his daughter, but then it's still less quantitatively than the time that she spends with the other adults. So I think sort of was resigned to at least initially not having a deep relationship with Hana. Well, then baby started really showing affection for him, and like she was smiling at him. She wanted to hang out with him. There's this thing that he does when he's like. It's like he's helping her to ride a plane on his arm, so he's carrying her around. Yeah, so baby always wanted to do that. She would wait for him, and I think that sort of, in a way, taught him about unconditional love, because it's not about anything like he really did, at least initially. But I think baby automatically sensed that that's my dad, and I need to have usually it should be the other way around, but baby really took the time to develop that relationship with her dad, and I think that really helped spark new interest and a new sense of duty in my husband. So now he's more engaged, and when Harang is crying at night, like he comes to, he wakes up and he's like trying to comfort her. And yeah, now it comes more naturally to him. It's not something that I have to force him to do.
Oh, that's true. Sometimes we automatically think, oh, it's natural for us just to take care of the baby, but it's something that we have to learn.
I was scared to death every time I had to wash her butt when she pooped because I thought I wasn't gonna hurt her like finger or like arms because I'm trying to do stuff and maneuvering like under the faucet and I didn't know her skin was going to be cut or not and I was scared to death but now I know how to do it so I feel a lot better but in the beginning I was frightened when I saw her poop. I'm just like she pooped.
I remember.
And I was like, oh no, I don't know how to
yes.
do this. But again, I had to figure out on my own. Nobody's gonna teach me.
Do you guys wash her in the faucet?
Yeah.
Yeah, right under the faucet.
Yeah.
In the sink.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband does that, and I think that was one of the initial things that he did that helped Hannah to trust it because he was the only one who did that. We were like, all of us were like, oh no, too busy. We're going to just use baby wipes. But my husband always took her to the faucet, and I think Hannah enjoyed that. So oh, that's a nice man who's always washing me.
I mean, I would use baby wipes too, but initially I was like, oh yeah, let me just use baby wipes. But I realized it took longer, especially with her amount of poop. Like, cause sometimes she would poop every other day, and it would be a lot of poop. And
oh, she pooped every other day.
yeah, okay. Oh well, when she was a newborn, maybe first few months she pooped every day, just a little bit. But then when she started drinking formula, she would poop every other day. Every other day from what I remember, and it would be a lot of poop. I think she takes after me. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's just me, but I was very emotional the first time when I had to feed her the goat milk organic from Europe. Because I was wanting her to be fed solely on breast milk because in my mind, okay, that's the best. Animal, not as good. So the first time when we were feeding her with the goat milk, I was like, oh, I failed to reach the ultimate height of raising the child according to the manual. But now I'm thankful that I have European goats producing milk for
Seriously,
Haiyan.
there are all these doctors who say, no, you can't have not enough milk, you're doing something wrong, and, you know, there are ways to fix things. I think, honestly, like, they haven't had a child. Like, they're male doctors, male authorities, like, who have no idea about how difficult it is to breastfeed. So they should just not have. Because, you know, most mothers, I mean, some people choose not to breastfeed for other reasons, but a lot of mothers I know, like, they're really working hard and, like, they're, you know, doing everything they can, and still it's really hard.
Even bottle feeding is so difficult. Breastfeeding is on a whole another level. I salute to all the mothers. So how difficult was it for you to breastfeed and bottle feed?
I mean, I think because of my situation, like invert nipple and, you know, perineum not healing well, I think that affected my supply level and also not being able to sleep. But yeah, I mean, it was sad to know that, oh, I would have to feed formula. But she was already so tiny when she was born, and she wasn't gaining any weight. Like, she lost weight, and then she stopped gaining weight.
Oh, you're supposed to lose a little bit.
Yeah, you're supposed to lose up to 10%, they said. But then she wasn't gaining. I was like, oh, shoot, I can't continue this, you know? Like, I need to at least feed her something, feed her formula. So, I mean, I don't regret it.
Okay.
Her formula. I don't want her.
So for you guys, did you guys have any depression coming upon you
Oh, I did.
at all? Because to me, it was more of an imaginary. It was more of my unpreparedness or my fear. But I don't know. I don't know what happened to you guys.
Oh, for me, I think I cried a lot because I didn't have enough milk for her initially, and I felt like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Actually, the first time I cried was because she kept crying at night, and I didn't know what was wrong, and I didn't know I was supposed to feed her. To be honest, because the midwife said that, oh yeah, babies have enough supply to last her 30 hours. You know, so I'm thinking, oh, I don't need to feed her. But wrong. I should have had her just at least, because I was like, well, I don't have any milk, you know, because I was like, like just hand expressing, and I didn't know anything about colostrum. I didn't know that would be enough to feed the baby, so I should have put her on my breast more, to be honest. I didn't know that. I didn't know about colostrum. And so then I cried because I didn't know why she was crying. And then I cried because I didn't have enough milk for her. And then I also cried when what was it? When she got a cold, because I was freaking. I was like, how do I, like, what do I do, for her cold? But there was nothing you could do for the cold. Just let it ride out.
And our sister-in-law told us that we should stop feeding her so often because she kept throwing up. And when you stop doing it, she stopped throwing up.
Yeah.
That was another breakthrough.
Yeah. So my sister-in-law gave me a lot of tips. Yeah, because I was like, I don't know why she keeps throwing up. So apparently I was feeding her too much and too often. But so I took her, her hand in her mouth, like, as if she's hungry. But my sister-in-law said, oh no, she's just tired. So that's when you need to put her to sleep. I was like, oh, okay. So it's been working now. Yeah.
What about you, Joohyun?
Yeah, I think definitely if I were in Guli's position, I would probably be crying all the time. For me, given all the support that I had, I think I was fortunate in having the familial network to rely on, but still it's very taxing emotionally. You don't know what's happening with the baby, and I think the first time, and like you have a lot of hormones, so yeah. I think the first time I cried was other than when I heard baby cry in the hospital. I'm like, oh no, baby came out into the cold, harsh world. But other than that, I think the second time was when she was a week old, and I was looking down at her, and like she looked a lot bigger than she had 1 week before. And I was like, wow, she's growing so fast. Oh no. And I started crying. And my mom was like, what are you crying about? So I was crying about little things like that. And then also when I was stressed because I saw my husband sleeping next to me.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. Like this time I felt all the burden of womanhood. And then, I had my troubles with feeding Han too, and because she feeds so incessantly. Oh, and one time, I had an infection, almost an infection in my one of my breasts, and so I didn't feed her from that for a few days. I used sort of like a shield to feed her, and I hated that. So she was just so sad. She was like, it was the saddest thing ever. I'm like, I'm not starving you. But she was so sad for 2 days. And it was like a very sad 2 days for all of us because she was so sad. And then one time, like, she mistakenly assumed that I would feed her from the breast without the shield, and she was so happy, and like she was like, oh, like she was bragging, like she looked around like she was bragging to everyone. She's like, oh, my mom's going to feed me now. And then I couldn't feed her, and then she was so sad.
So cute.
And it was terrible, but I think for me, more than those moments of acute sadness, it's more like a perennial, oh my goodness, now, like, when am I going to ever sleep a full night's sleep again? Like, whenever am I going to have time to exercise and take my weight off? Because immediately after birth, I shed almost all of my pregnancy pounds.
What?
Because I don't know why, but I didn't have to put in a lot of effort. But then, I gained them back again. So now I weigh almost as much as I did when I was fully pregnant, for sure.
Yes, me too.
So I'm like, okay, so am I just going to look like this?
Yes, I don't know what happened. Like, because everyone says when you breastfeed you'll lose all your weight. Yeah. And same with you. Like after I gave birth, I lost so much. I lost everything. And then people said, oh, yeah, you need to eat more. So I was eating late. Maybe because I was eating late at night too. Because I was eating to make sure I had enough milk, and then I gained all this
your
weight.
Stomach expands, and now like.
Yeah, so I gained all this weight back to almost my pregnancy weight. I'm like, man.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I was drinking a lot of Samyuk calcium dew. It's like the high calcium milk, and it has a lot of fat and it has a lot of sugar. But I think it helped with my milk supply. And in retrospect, I guess, just drinking a lot of fluids generally would have helped out. But then, so I was drinking a lot of that to keep my milk supply up, and then I realized that I was gaining a lot of weight, so I stopped for a moment. I was watching my soy milk count. So I was like, okay, I've had like 5 today, so yeah, that's how many calories I'm going to stop now. But then like my milk supply went down, and I was panicking because my baby was crying. So I'm like, okay, never mind. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm going to drink two cartons now, and then like I feed on soy milk all the time, and I felt like a milk making machine. Okay, I won't exercise because I think burning off the calories is not helping with the milk supply. Okay, so I won't exercise. I'll just drink milk.
That's so crazy. Wow.
You may want to try male soy milk because it has no sugar.
Yeah, now I'm trying the soy milk without the sugar, and also my friend told me about like her experience drinking like green smoothies and fruit smoothies, and she drank that, and that helped her milk supply and also helped her baby skin. So I've been trying that, and I think that's been helping.
Have you tried what is it, mother's still tea or something like that?
Yeah. Didn't really help.
Oh, really? Didn't help you? Oh, okay. I'm drinking that every morning with oat milk.
Oh, really?
Because oat.
For me, the calcium dew was the most effective.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's like, drinking soy milk and getting fat, and everybody's so worried because I'm getting fat and like drinking so much soy milk.
Oh man. Yeah, I was getting fat from eating so much like oil. So you drink oils. Okay.
So to end this interview on a happy note, so what was the happiest thing that you've ever experienced throughout the journey?
Happiest experience?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me when I'm not sure. The happiest? I don't know, just watching her when she's not crying. And like, she's just so beautiful. She's just so calm, and actually also the breastfeeding part. I don't know. I really enjoy breastfeeding her. Just like wow. I'm giving her what she needs.
This connection between the mother and the baby.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. And then the first time that she smiled back at me.
Yeah, I feel like every moment is a miracle. I never knew how much it takes to keep a human being alive, and now I see every human being as someone very precious. And I didn't know that. I didn't know every human being is alive because someone has sacrificed this much. And I feel like every moment is a miracle. And I get very emotional when I look at her. And when she looks at me, I feel very happy.
Yeah, same here. And also for me, so for a while, Hanan was very mean towards me. Because she, like I said, I'm sorry to just mention her feeding all throughout the interview. Yes, she's a very gluttonous little child. She wanted to, eat constantly at night, and she was having trouble going to sleep because she could smell my milk. So she could smell me when I held her. So if she wouldn't fall asleep, she'd be like become more and And she forged a very strong bond with my mother, which is good. That's great. But then, like, she started like being really mean towards me. And
Wow.
she like at any time, like once she stopped, like she would come to me when it was time to feed, and she would feed, and then like she would like give me a stink eye and say like, "Okay, buzz off, mom." And I'm like,
It sounds like she has very complex communication going on that I have
yeah,
never imagined.
yeah, she's a very communicative child, and she would be like, especially when it grew dark, she would be like, she would cling to my mom and be like, and then like look around and be like, oh, "Are you still here, mother? Go to your room. I'm grandmother." Um, so like, which is which is better than her clinging to me in a way, because not only because it helps ease my burden, but because I have to eventually go back to work. So
Ah, I see.
if she were doing that, and it would be very difficult to leave her at home. So I knew
Ah,
that in my head. But still, when your child is like treating you like a milk bottle, and then like, okay, go to your room, mom. Why are you
wow.
still in the living room?
That
That was, yeah, it was really sad. And then but that was like a phase that lasted for like 2 months, and then now she's a lot she and I are a lot more close now. And I
oh.
think it was like a combination of the passage of time, and also when even when she cried, I would still hold her and like still wrestle with her, and like I think just having going through that helped with our bonding. So
Ah.
yeah, whenever like it grows dark and she doesn't give me the stink eye and she wants to continue to play with me, it just makes me so happy. I'm like, okay, so finally you're recognizing me as your mother somewhat, and not just a milk bottle.
That's really interesting because that's something that you can only experience when there are multiple adults in her life.
Yeah.
And we it was just us and just two of us, and I guess she has a lot of support, so I guess I can't imagine the uh neglect that she was doing on you, and then you could have felt very disappointed, but also at the same time you can feel very relieved knowing that you don't have to carry all the burden.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and well, now it's really tough on my mom. Like she's so heavy, and she always like clings to my mom. So
Wow. I hope I hope she can handle it.
yeah, she's exercising a lot. She's doing like
I we
sit-ups and like push-ups. She's
Wow.
such a bad.
That's amazing. I we went to Warang Mountain recently, and we went to one of the peaks that were like 200 something meters, and
Yeah, that's amazing.
people were like going like, "Wow, it's amazing that you're here with a 4 months old," and we're actually enjoying carrying around. And actually, I would rather carry around than being stuck at home because I'm very outdoorsy person. I'm very active and athletic and all these things. So, it's just so liberating to be able to move around and exercise. And today is the exact 5 months.
Ah, happy 5 months.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. Your experience is very different from our experience, and but one thing we did in common is that we did everything at home
Yep, that's right.
without the professionals' help. But I guess you had that. So someone in your family, your aunt, is working for the postpartum care center.
Yeah, she works at the 21.
Mm.
Yeah. I didn't, I was not worried, and then we're like, oh, okay, yeah, actually, it's a big deal to have a baby in the house.
So she was the ultimate authority figure that solved all your problems.
No, not really. I mean, she helped like settle down that first day, and then she would come by often to play with Hana. But
Oh.
Hanam's very particular, and
Oh.
also like she really didn't go by the book. So I read a lot of childcare and pregnancy books, and like nothing happened in the order that the experts said.
Oh.
And like my aunt, she was like really surprised about how much crying Haram did, because when babies cry, you hold them,
Uh
and
huh.
that's supposed to calm them.
Uh huh.
And like it keep on crying like that.
Wow. So I guess she didn't really follow any established ways to to handle her.
Yeah, I guess the first couple of weeks, I think like she might have been going through like a super week period. Like people say you have like periodic super weeks where the baby will just cry incessantly,
Yeah, that's true.
and
That's
then
true.
there's like a lot of development, and I think that might have come really early for her. I'm not sure,
Uh,
but yeah, but that was a really hard time for all of us.
Man, every time she cries, I feel guilty. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and that makes me feel really bad.
Hmm.
But but now I know how to figure things out and what the problems are. So thank you so much for the time that you have spent for the interview, and we learned we learned a lot
I
from
enjoyed
you.
it.
And now I know the ideal model family postpartum care. I've never imagined that such a thing would even be possible. But I think the way your family lived together and all the help that you have, I think it's really amazing. I don't think many families can have the support.
Yeah, it's a lot of commitment, and yeah, I think like my mom was like, okay, I don't think I can do this for your second child if you have one.
Yeah,
Like I'm getting too old.
that's true. That's true. I think people in their 20s and 30s and 40s should handle, not someone older.
Yeah,
Could they?
yeah.
Could they
But
ever?
I think having that many people around like has really been also good for her too, and not just for the adults because they share the responsibility. But
Uh huh.
yeah, because I heard that in the news I read during the COVID pandemic, babies' development is slowed down because they don't get to interact a
That's true.
lot
That's
with
true.
people outside other than their
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
But then like she was able to interact with a lot of people, so I
Wow.
think that was good for her.
What a privilege.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
that's
very thankful.
that's really amazing. Wow. I was gonna interview a few years later on your lawyer's experience, but I had to ask you to be interviewed again for your baby.
Yeah.
Thank you for this time again, and I'll see you sometime again. And thank you for
Okay.
all the support with the bed and diapers and everything.
Okay. Yeah, she was getting very fat, so that's why we were able to provide the diapers.
Ah, that's why. I need to thank Haran.
Yes. Yes. She's ready to move on to step 5 now. Like she has like
Already.
yeah, she's so big.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
She's like a. How much does she
She's
weigh?
in the one percentile for baby weight according to Neighbor.
The top 1%.
Yeah, top 1%.
We're at the bottom of the bottom. We're two extreme babies. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. I never thought I would have a really, really, really large baby, but she's a very large
Wow,
baby.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And she was born later than our daughter.
Yeah, they're almost exactly 1 month apart.
Wow, that's oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, the bed is also helping a lot. The separate bed because the visiting nurse said that you may kill the child if you put her right next to you. So I feel better because I know she's safe. So thank you so much, and
Okay.
we'll catch up with you
All right.
again
All
next
right.
time.
Good luck
Thank
this
you.
afternoon.
You too. Good luck. Keep feeding.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.